Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are so pleased to have this gentleman in. He's certainly one of our leading educational voices for many, many years, even though he looks a lot younger than his age. He's been doing it for quite a while. He's the chief strategist chief strategy officer for EDforTech, and that's Todd Ullah. How you doing there, Todd?
I'm doing fine, Drew. Nice to see you today.
It's great to see you. And joining us is another big thinker. He's our business partner with our new relationship with Mission Fed Credit Union. That's Neville Villamoria. He is the Senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed, who was founded by educators. Is that not right?
Absolutely, on a borrowed desk at the County Office of Ed in 1961.
Very good. And, Todd knows that too. Todd, just a little bit of a background on your very storied space in education.
Yeah, a longtime educator from Los Angeles Unified School District. As you know, we have a link there with Palisades Charter High School as a science teacher in Los Angeles, and moved on through the ranks to be ending up being the science director for LAUSD. And along the way was a principal at Washington Prep. Go Generals!
Yes. That George McKenna? Was George McKenna
George McKenna was there, yeah. It was done. A movie was done with Denzel on his time at the Prep.
Right.
And so it was 2,500 kids. This is where the Crips were founded. And so we were able to turn that school into a really great place using technology, some of the things I've been doing throughout my career.
Right. And you were literally one of the pioneers with technology, and you embraced it, many years ago. I know this has got, Neville's ears perked up because he's always at doing cutting edge stuff. But talk about that.
I've used technology from the very beginning as a classroom tool. And I saw the value in it when you see the lights go on using it. And it was able to reach all learners, kinesthetically, auditorily, visually, in ways that kind of really made a difference in how they viewed their own space and their own management of learning. And so as that progressed, I became really, really thrilled with the idea of using more and more technology. In fact, as you know, I was featured in one of the Apple spots back in the day as an Apple educator. So it's something that's been with me for a long, long time. I actually was the director of instructional technology for LA as well for 5 years.
Yeah, and what's great about it, technology, and I know this is something that, you and I have talked about quite a bit with our good friends. We don't give a shout out to Peter Sibley. Something's wrong with us, the CEO of Journeys Map and Edmund Inc. But what certainly runs through your DNA, Todd, and it's obviously, as long as I've known Neville, it's been his. Technology is an equalizer, and it levels the playing field. Mm-hmm. And for those folks, that maybe have not been exposed to it or have those opportunities, talk about how important that is.
Yeah, you and I have a connection at UCLA.
Right.
And so one of the things I did in my doctorate was to think about emancipatory educational experiences for youth in ways that can free them into thinking the way that they want to think about the world that they live in. And technology is a bridge to that type of learning. And so it's inspirational in the sense that kids, as they begin to manage their own learning, they begin to see things in a perspective that allows us to move forward as a society. And so that caught my interest long ago and has been something that I've been preaching, really. Let's create emancipatory experiences for youth, especially disadvantaged youth around the country. And that's kind of been my mission over the past 20 years to really develop that type of thinking.
And you certainly have. And I just saw, if this was a vodcast, you'd see Neville's eyeballs light up and on this over here. This is absolutely in your wheelhouse, Neville. Talk about that.
Man, I just got goosebumps. I mean, what better use could we have for education than to liberate the human spirit and optimize all the potential in each and every one of us, particularly our most underestimated brothers and sisters. So using technology as a force for good, to democratize that experience and make it more ubiquitous, that was wildly cool. Thank you for investing a career in that aspirational voyage and journey.
Thanks, Neville.
Yeah, and just getting started. I mean, I think Todd reinvents himself like every day I see him. So the next thing you know, he's working on this, and then he's doing something, and God knows where he's doing it. So talk for EDforTech. How long have you been working with them?
Yeah, EDforTech was a formation out of exactly what Neville was saying about democratizing the computer science and robotics space in terms of outreach for kids, especially kids of color and kids that are disadvantaged around the country. So I met with Linda Plowman-Nichols, who is the CEO of Interactive Media, a few years back. I was a consultant for her, and we began to talk and think about these very ideas around how do we bring this, level the playing field and create tomorrow's, STEM thinkers today, is kind of what we were talking about. And that's, so we formed EDforTech about 3 years ago now. And it's been a wildly successful and fun journey in serving youth and teachers around the country. We do three things. We do STEM labs, which are using robotics. We do summer camps, which I'd like to talk more about today.
Yes.
And we do professional learning. And that's kind of like the head of the spear, because we feel that building teacher capacity, is key to teaching better and to enhancing learning. So that's what we're about, and that's why we formed the company about 3 years ago.
Again, chatting with Todd Ullah, he's the Chief Strategy Officer for EDforTech, joined by Neville Villamoria, Senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed Credit Union. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. Professional learning is just so important. We're going to get to summer camps in a second. But we know when those teachers, and you know this because you were one of those science teachers, when you close that door for 182 days of the year, it's you and those 150 kids,
That's
if you've
right.
got middle school and above, and nobody else but you and those 150 kids, maybe even more these days. And, I think professional learning is just so critical. It sounds obvious, but sometimes is not practice as much. And Neville, we're real proud to have worked with my good friend Todd with the Classroom of the Future Foundation. We had some money to burn with our good friends at SDG&E, and Todd said, "Drew, put me in touch with your buddies at the County Office of Education," and it'd be remiss if we didn't give a big high five to Al Love.
Al Love, yeah.
Al Love.
Go Al.
Yeah, he's great. And so we had money and said, "Here you go with it." Al and Todd's group got together and spent that money on robotics. With kids. Talk about that.
Yeah, last summer it was, and it's continuing this summer.
Yeah.
But last summer we broke out and worked with kids around the San Diego area, from South Bay to North County, to work on the types of emancipatory experiences that we were talking about with kids. And his teachers were amazing. In terms of the professional learning, they picked up on it and really loved it. In fact, we had one of the teachers on the show before, and so in that effort, we worked with students around the county and seeing themselves in designing missions to Mars, expeditions for kids in K2, using a screenless robot called M-Tiny, and we used for grades 6 through 8. We had our MBOT robots that we used, and that focuses self-driving cars, which is in electric cars. So as you know, that's kind of important today.
Yes,
in terms of a focus. So that's what we did, and we continue to do and work with Al and the county, and working on building capacity with teachers and providing these opportunities for kids.
Right. Talk a little bit about the Logan Heights Future Innovators STEAM Summer Camp.
Yeah, that was something that actually came our way through the STEM ecosystem here in San Diego, which you put me in touch with, actually.
Happy to do that.
And so they asked us to help them write a Level Up grant for the San Diego Foundation. And we won. And so we were able to work with 39 kids this summer in an all-day school program, which was awesome. It involved our nonprofit. We also have a nonprofit, as you know, that focuses on school improvement, STEM solutions, and CTE. So we work with donors and folks around the country to provide those opportunities for kids. So we decided to make an all-day program, and the Logan CDC, Ebony, and the CEO there were happy to include us for a full day. So the kids worked on Success Maker and Reading and Math Intervention focus program. They worked on Coder Z, which is our partner that does robotics virtually, which is pretty cool, from 10 to 12. And they also did the Amazon Engineering the Future Challenge for these kids. And then in the afternoons, they had experience with Cody Rocky, which is a mission to Mars. So they had a full day. We did that for 4 weeks. And what was also cool about it was we had on Fridays field trips and career days. And so on one day, and I got to show you pictures of this, Drew.
Please.
You really like it. The kids extracted DNA from a strawberry. And these are kids from like 2nd grade to 8th grade. And they extracted DNA from a strawberry. You talk about emancipatory experiences. It was something to behold. And they were having fun and couldn't believe it. And we also had career folks come in that looked like them. Most of these kids are Latino and African American.
Right.
And so we had career folks come in. And one of them was a forensic scientist with Kern County, actually in the crime labs there. And of course, she brought the kind of the mystery of who stole the PlayStation, controller, which got the kids' attention big time. And so we were able to do that, as well as go to Qualcomm and some other places.
Right. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for more than 60 years. And we're in the Mission Fed studios, beautiful studios here in Scripps Ranch. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diego for more than 60 years. We are back with Todd Ullah, Chief Strategy Officer for EDforTech, joined by Neville Billamoria, Senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed. And, we were chatting about the Logan Heights Future Innovators Esteemed Summer Camp. What was the culmination? What were the results of that?
Oh, man, it was amazing. We had, on July 25th, we had a graduation for all 39 kids that were in the program. And all their parents came, and we had a stage set up. And as you know, with our relationship with UCSD Extension, the dean came and handed out certificates of award after student presentations to each of the kids in engineering design and computer science. So they left with a certificate and how to program, and most importantly, how to collaborate with one another to think about themselves as being scientists, mathematicians, and engineers.
Yeah, we were mentioning, this your work at UCLA and your PhD, and Neville getting all geeked up about it because this is into his wheelhouse with thinking and all that business. But tell me, Neville, your thoughts on hearing what Todd and EDforTech are doing.
Well, it's inspiring, first of all, because when you think tech, you typically go to, again, the empirical side of it. But what I'm really picking up is the whole person focus. So emancipatory experiences, by definition, is suggesting a higher aspirational goal for the student and creating a different construct. Meeting people where they're at.
Right.
Show me you know me, and let me see people like me in the roles that I aspire to be. Because if I don't even see myself in that kind of role, I don't even put that in my consideration set. Collaboration, not just doing the myth of individual design or invention, or the John Wayne independence myth has been debunked. We need each other. Long-term intractable problems require complex collaboration and collective wisdom. So I'm actually hearing non-tech stuff from a tech guy, which is really cool.
Thank you, Neville. That's spot on, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. I couldn't say it better.
Well, listen, it's we mentioned this earlier, Todd, and something that's really important to everybody, and should be, and if it's not, it needs to be. It levels the playing field.
Yes.
It's an equalizer. Talking about the people you worked with at Washington Prep, where the Crips were, founded, and these are folks that, you give these kids high expectations and the right tools, and they'll knock it out of the park. And if you don't believe that, you shouldn't be in education.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't be in life, for that matter. But I mean, but especially education. And I think that's something that is so important when they see what you've been doing in your life's work on that is so critical. I can only imagine that the parents of those kids are probably thrilled with it. And Neville knows this. We talked this quite a bit on our Spotlight show. We'll use San Diego as a context. Mm-hmm. The amount of kids that have never been to the beach that live in San Diego County, or to the mountains, or to our deserts that are close, or to a Padres baseball game, that's a big number here. Mm-hmm. And Neville knows that because he's involved in this space. You know it because that's who the groups you work with. And people who think that, how's that even possible? No, it's possible.
It's possible.
It is possible, and it does happen. So you've opened up those doors, and who knows whether it's with robotics or cars that are God knows the Jetson type cars we may have in the future. Mm-hmm. And the kids get geeked up by all this stuff. And one thing I love about what you do, Todd, I mean, you're a kid at heart, obviously. Maybe it's that musician in you, that trumpet playing musician in you. But they see that. They see, this aspect in Neville's the same way on this. Talk about NSBE SEEK Summer Camp. What is that all about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shout out to my colleague, their chief operating officer, Joe Lively, for putting this together with the National Society for Black Engineers and bringing together a group of people from 5 countries to explore exactly what Neville was talking about, the democratization of technology. Using engineers across the country that are in the society. We've worked with over 3,500 kids this summer in 5 countries to implement technology. And with that comes the training and the engagement in the homes of kids. So we were, instead of having a central location like we did at Logan, these robots and tools and trainings were sent to all over the world in terms of what we're doing to bring technology into the homes with parents and kids. And so that's what we're doing. It's currently going on right now in terms of the work with NSBE. It's just amazing.
When you say that, and we all know this, not only is that great for the kids, but it's great for the parents. So talk about that bond that just got strengthened. And we know this, sometimes, just because life in general, you don't have that connection with your kid for whatever reason. And now you brought this together, whether it's in, Ukraine. Actually, we had some people on the show that are doing some great game-changing stuff with kids from Ukraine. You can only imagine what their lives are like these days, but tied to STEM and all that. So I think that is great. And the beauty of this is that it shortens the world. You're at the fingertip or whatever the case may be in that area. So Todd, what can our listeners do to support your efforts moving forward, and companies like Mission Fed?
Well, I think the idea of support, obviously, to come to EDforTech, visit our website, edfortech.com, and see what we do. Wherever possible, reach out in terms of involving children and students and opportunities that decrease the gap between not having opportunities and seeing themselves as something different, seeing themselves outside of their community. So whatever we can do as a team to make that happen, I think it's in a national interest, economically, politically, all kinds of different ways for kids to have that type of involvement. So that's what we need to do.
Right. Can people observe? So you do summer camps, as you mentioned, and you're doing a lot of stuff. So if someone says, listen, I want to see this firsthand, can people see what's going on in the summer camps or whenever you're doing it during the year? Or is there stuff virtually on your website that say, here's an example of what we've done?
Yes. We're currently doing, with Tom Davis, actually, we're doing 16 Weeks of STEAM here in National City.
Right. LeAngela Brady, the superintendent.
Right. And so we're doing some work there, and that's an ongoing parent-student checkout system of robotics. And we wrote curriculum both in Spanish and English and Tagalog to help kids and parents grapple with the opportunities that are available to them through robotics. So they could see it at the national city school district at this point in time, as well as contacting us, and we're happy to show some of our implementations around the country in Newark, New Jersey, Detroit, in Florida and Texas, different places that we're trying to bring this all together. And again, we're about building capacity, kind of teaching STEM better, and enhancing learning.
Yeah, well, you cannot go wrong with that combo. Neville, any final comments?
Well, I think it was Ben Franklin that said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So as we listen to and reflect on some of the great work you're doing, I hope that people will take the time to learn more about your organization and ask how they can uplift that work, because ultimately that's going to uplift all of society. And thank you for the great work you guys are doing and allowing me to jump in with you today.
Okay, well, thank you, Neville. A shout out to Tatiana, too, who couldn't be here, our marketing specialist and instructional design specialist.
Absolutely. We'll get her in the studio next time. Absolutely. How's that sound? Great job, Todd. And then we always love having you on. Neville knows this. We love to have folks make repeat performances, especially with some of the people that have benefited from it. So we love having students on as well that has changed their life, whether it's robotics or STEAM or STEM or everything in between. So can't thank you enough. Todd Ullah, Chief Strategy Officer for EDforTech, Neville Villamoria, the Senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed. I'm Drew Schlosberg. And you've been listening to Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for more than 60 years. And Todd, we'll look forward to having you back on.
Right on. Thanks, Drew.
Yeah, you bet.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.